How's it going, everyone? So I'm tinahacks. I speedrun this game among plenty of others. And this game, it's going to happen at you really, really, really fast. So I hope that you're all ready for all of this. If you're a fan of anime, good news for you. If you're not a fan of anime, don't worry. We're mostly fixing the anime problem. So couple of things for you to know. This game throws some lore at you right at the beginning. Anytime that you see the word adept, that's just a person who has magic. Anytime that you see the word Septima, they decided that magic is too boring of a word, so they gave it a new word. So we are going to be doing good endings, which means that we're going to be playing through the game with both characters, and then as both characters, we're going to do the final level one extra time to get a secret boss. And yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. I'm ready for countdown. If Tech is ready for countdown, it's going to be a wild ride. All right, we will be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we're going to be starting off as Gunvolt. Gunvolt's primary attack is not the gun, which you would think, but it's the Volt. The gun just tags enemies so that you can electrocute them with your magic. So right off the bat, we've got to do a little bit of menuing here. This just makes it so that I can mash a little bit more effectively during boss fights, because the gun, while not being the primary source of damage, does do chip damage. So a lot of people are going to notice, hey, this looks a lot like, you know, Mega Man ZX games, stuff like that. And there's a good reason for that. This is done by Inti Creates, and there's just a ton of cross-pollination in terms of the developers who worked on those games. So, beneath my character, you will have noticed a little blue bar, and that is my Septima energy, my magic energy. So, anytime that I'm not actively attacking with magic, I have a thing called prevasion. It's like evasion, but it's already happened. So if I'm not attacking, or if that bar is not a red color, meaning that I have some magic left, I'm going to be able to just not take damage, which makes this run real fun, real fast. And then behind us is Jewel. She's dead, except that she's not for plot reasons from the first game. Don't worry about it, it's complicated. Alright, so we've got our first kind of intro boss, just to kind of help us get ready for the rest of the run. So currently I'm in Anthem mode. Hopefully we're not going to see that too terribly much during this run. There's two ways that you can end up in Anthem mode. There's 2 scripted times when we're going to see it happen. And then on top of that, if I die, there's a very, very small chance that the game, instead of letting me take a death, is going to just have me come back, you know, immediately to life in Anthem mode. You have infinite Septima when you're in Anthem, and you have some, like, infinite jumps, a couple of, you know, nice-to-haves when you're trying to do a video game fast. Alright, and now coming up, we are going to introduce the other main character, Copen. Copen was a bad guy in the previous game. He's a bad guy in this game, but his sister got kidnapped, so we're going to fix that. So, unlike Gunvolt, Copen's primary damage is actually the Mega Man ZX style little hand blaster that he's holding. Go. But we do have this robot Lola following us around. And, much like Gunvolt, we have access to free evasion as well. And we have this dash mechanic. This is called bullet dashing. You can tell that it's bullet dashing because there's little bullets in the lower left-hand side of the screen, which tells you how many dashes you have left before you have to reload. So dashing, obviously, very fast. So most of the movement as Copen is going to be done with these dashes. And finally, we have super weapons. We're going to be getting super weapons kind of Mega Man style with Copen. Copen feels a little bit more like a traditional Mega Man style character. So to respond to one thing that I see in chat, so Anthem, yeah, tanks your ranking. In the speedrun, we really don't care about ranking. The downside to Anthem is that it's completely random, and that's not great. So, you know, taking an intentional death to try and get an Anthem doesn't always work out for you. In addition, it also takes a ton of time just to have it go off. All right, so that's the intro done. We are going to be starting the game as Copen. There we go. So as you can see, there's a ton of dialogue that just happens throughout the level. Enjoy it. It's wild. Right, so we're going to be coming up on the first boss pretty soon here. Got a couple of enemies who have laid a cunning trap that we have to thwart before that. Coming up after a load screen, we're going to fight our first boss, Desna. She has hair. That's her magic. She has, like, really a lot of hair, and actually it gets into tangles and knots. So one last thing that is worth pointing out. We just finished watching Tulip, which is just a real fun run. I think that I might have used my special just a little bit late. We'll see. Yeah. So we lose a tiny bit of time here. Not the worst thing ever. But much like the protagonist in Tulip, Copen really, really likes kissing people. In particular, every time that Copen kisses one of the enemies, you're going to see that that enemy gets marked, and Copen just gets to target it, no matter where either of them is standing. We're going to be making use of that a ton throughout the run. All right, so we're coming up on the next level. We did just get a weapon, which I'm going to be using a ton throughout this run. You're going to see me change to it and start using it pretty quickly here, because it allows me to interrupt the animation of reloading these bullet dashes. Okay, so now we're on a motorcycle, you know, for reasons. Like you do. So we are currently hunting down Gauri, who is the next boss.
Poetry slam! Bling bling! Down to Camelot, no border! Wanna be height of Eden order! 無理かい昔おまシュレッドストーム魔法がドキュー
So one of the nice things about this game, I think, is that really it tends to pretty much explain itself. Commentary is fun when something cool is coming up, but for the most part, like, it's not too much to explain. I'm doing movement. Okay, so this is kind of a cool little section where both characters are gonna end up doing this fight. But right now, we're gonna politely ask that Gunvolt consider letting us continue the level. Because Gunvolt's very kind, he's going to oblige. So there's our first alarm room, just arrived at. Every single one of the alarm rooms where an alarm goes off and there's a trap, and you have to maybe not get murdered by all the people in it. Instead of actually fighting any of the enemies, which, you know, sounds fine. So there's a secret here. And if you're very good at this game, you make sure that you actually get it the first time. It's actually still faster if you didn't get it the first time to skip the stage. You'll get to see everything that we skipped a little bit later in the run.
Chat would like to know, what does leveling up do in this game?
Okay, so leveling up. As Copen, it increases your damage a tiny bit. It gives you a little bit more HP, but as Copen, there's not a ton of good that it's going to do. Later on when we're playing as Gunvolt, you're going to see a lot of level ups. Specifically, we need to hit a specific level that unlocks an ability. So, as Copen, when we level up, it's not as big of a deal. As Gunvolt, your abilities, your super moves, are actually tied to leveling up as opposed to defeating enemies. All right, so we're going to be entering the final of the normal, quote-unquote, stages.
一開発者として気に食わんな足止めシュレッドストーン
サイクが上には落ちないようにね。
かっこ撃破が面倒で天井のサイレンを破壊するべきだ。
前方にセブン。
日露をさらったのは貴様だったか。すりつぶせできないその罪か。この手で断罪する。
わめき貴様の頭はコンポートされたプディングだ。オールド立場を教えた。戻貴様はガレットクローネのかまどの中で完璧アミューズブーシ図鑑した。
怪物に奴ら逃げ込んだのはここか。
Alright, so the game kind of leads you to believe that you won the fight, but joke's on you. You've also got this robot here. So one of the things that you'll see both in Copen and Gunvolt's runs is aiming to use a special move right at the barrier between Phase 2 and Phase 3 of a given boss. You can do a little bit of extra damage that way. Phase 3 always has really, really high armor. Being able to get through the boss's HP just that much quicker saves, you know, seconds, but seconds add up in a speedrun. Alright, so we finished the front half of Copen's episode, I guess. Time for the back half. So it starts with just a boss fight, and then after that we're going through essentially the Wily stages.
Do we have time for a donation?
We absolutely have time for donations.
All right, we have a $46 donation from Aeon Frodo that says, in my SRB2 cart run, I got 23 perfect starts that have a 2-frame window in them. So here's $46 going right towards the Katamari incentive. Good luck to the rest of the runners.
Right on.
And I just want to quickly mention that we do have a We Love Katamari run coming up later today, and we do have a bid incentive for that. During the elephant level of We Love Katamari, if you get your ball big enough, you can absorb the king, and if met, our runner will absorb the king too. So if that's something that you would like to see, you can go ahead and get your donations in now.
All right, so we've gotten through, really, I think, one of the most frustrating bosses to fight in the game. Not for any reason other than her final phase has the highest armor out of any enemy in the game, including the final boss. You know, for fun. And just in case anybody hasn't already noticed them, make sure that you're just really taking in these intro screen blurbs, because they're wild.
ああ、分かっている。全ては同志探偵らの御心のままに。お前はいずれ楽園へと至る我らの姿を指を加えて眺めていろ。本拠地だから少しは手応えがあるかと思ったが、いくら濡れようと所詮ザコはザコだ。口ほどにもないやつらだ。
ピンチのクリーナップで体力回復を進めました。
パンテーラ来ている。
彼に奪われたミラーピース必ず取り戻さなければいけない。
I'm gonna be real. That was a minor mistake. We lost a tiny bit of time there. Not too bad, though. This is actually real interesting. I think that I might be having my down button activate sometimes that I don't want it to. This is going to be a challenge run now, friends. Let's go.
ピースはあの玉コロの中だ。総攻撃で奪い取れ。
ザコが
Responding to something that I see in chat, you do have Anthem as Copen.
ミラーピースは道連のためにも必要な
For
ものだ。
plot reasons.
貴様らには渡さん。ミチルの次くらいには大事にしているつもりだ。
もうシスコお兄ちゃんなんだからミチルちゃん助けて戻ったら
Are the frame drops normal? Yes. When you're doing the ground pound, for whatever reason, this game does have a non-negligible amount of graphical lag.
それが我慢ならねえの。俺は俺に宿ったセブンス自分の力で文明奇数汚水に光り切った無能力者を排除して海を汚さね自然と共にアクアアバター流れは止まらねえ。
化け物らしくやべ変な白熱シュレッドストーム。セブンスは神の方に唾が呪われた力他ない。
そうか能力者は日々増え続ける。あ、聞こえる。
So I see a good question in chat asking if we are playing as the bad guy in Gunvolt 1. Yes.
そこからさらに険しくなる。周囲の墓地地形をサーチしてみたところ
Alright, so now we get to enjoy
おそらく
the part of the game where we turn into an anime music video.
ルートに出たか。
レベル4エリアにて侵入者発見。総員出撃だ。同士を守れ。
らしい連中ね。黙らせてくれ。
レベル5だと。ヘイ、全兵力でやっと止めろ。
いくら濡れようとも変わらん。
同志パンテーラ。次はさ。あとは博士。
命を粗末にしに来たか。愚かな連中だ。
あらぬことなど承知済み。少しでもお前を消耗させられるなら、それこそが我らボーンの使命。
やはり化け物。理解できんな。
全ては我らが。
化け物どもめ。貴様らの命 程度で俺の妹をさらった罪償えると思うな。
ドンチにとつってくるとか旧人類がマナーがなってないんですけど。
一応さらった邪気どもに解かれる伝説などあるか。
マジレスエラーシもうマウスもううわそれロボじゃないっすか。マジインプレグナブルフォートレスされるんですけど、それ AI のプログラムとかどうなってるんですか。存在非合憲までいきますよ。
スメラギだと知っているのかどう。
スメラギの開発中無人スタジオ再設し、しかし開発が難航して完成のめどが立っていま
エイザー、あの時の戦闘機と同じか。なるほど。天白熱シュレッドストーム。
Alright, now here's one of the best super attacks in the game.
物ごときが
Well, that is to say, if you really, really enjoy just sitting around for 30 seconds or so, being unable to do anything,
力に操られし科学の子よ。その栄光俺が消滅する。
Alright, so we are coming up on the final level in Copen's episode. At least the first time of two that we'll be running through this as Copen. For good endings, we'll be redoing the final level both as Copen and Gunvolt right at the end of the run. But you've all played Mega Man. You know what's coming up. That's right. It's time for a boss rush.
要塞内の雰囲気が変わった。とは判定だがお前の妹だ。
死こそつながっていないが僕たちは同じ故郷同じ時を過ごした兄弟。義兄弟の誓いを交わしたただ一人の家族。故に守る。かりそめでも構わん。この命を取って。
血のつながらない妹。義妹か。偽り。
覚悟はいい。クリジット・ブロッサン。
俺と道のつながりを
信じて
いや一度死んでも貴様の減らず口は治らんよ
小崎、今度こそその玉っころだ。誰とクローネで割り砕いてくる。ウフを割るようにたやすい。
天白熱シュレッドストーム。
戻れ。主人にそううるさい君。
から私占いますこの戦いで未来を
くだらない貴様に光も闇もあるものか。
All right, we're going to be coming up on the last of our boss rush. And I know that you were all hoping for some more poetry slams, so I've got real good news. All right, so now it's time for the final boss. So this is Zonda. What's really cool about this boss is that we have different ways of kind of trivializing the fight as Copen and as Gunvolt. So you're going to get to see different ways of making this fight manageable. I see a question in chat asking if bosses have specific weapon weaknesses. They sure do. Okay, so just kidding. That actually wasn't the final boss. Here's the final boss. So this is Zonda. There's really only one attack that we don't want to see from Zonda here, and that's this force field attack that she puts out that it's real great. It heals the boss and just makes the fight take longer for no reason. Yeah, so in the DS version of this game, because the DS had a microphone, if you were playing as Gunvolt, during that attack specifically, you would have to sing the theme song to the game to bring him back to life. It's real good. So there's that healing attack. I'm glad that we got to show it off. I hope I don't see it again. All right, so that would be the end of Copen any percent. But since we're going for good endings, you've got a lot more Gunvolt ahead of you. So bad news, bad ending. Maybe Gunvolt will have better luck, so it's Gunvolt's turn. And cool little bit of planning in this game. Gunvolt and Copen actually end up, for the most part, running in entirely different levels, which keeps the gameplay pretty fresh going throughout both of the runs. So I no longer have rocket boots, which is kind of a bummer. It means that I have to mash L to dash all the time. It's real good. So normally you break those, they're called hexaphiles, because of course they are. You break them to end the level. There's a secret a little bit later on if you skip that one though. So there we take an intentional overheat, specifically so that we have enough juice left to defeat a couple of enemies. We pick up a secret skill called Crash Bolt, which is going to be shown off throughout the run. And then after all is said and done, we are going to be continuing on with the run. And coming up on the first boss, one of the things that'll be immediately obvious is that just in general, bosses take longer with Gunvolt versus Copen. Gunvolt only has one weapon, electricity. And it turns out that only a boss who's, you know, weak to electricity is going to be defeated quickly by that. So most of these bosses just they take a little bit longer. You'll see me mashing to try and quickly get in some chip damage. So again, just because of the fact that Jibril has incredibly high armor here, it's pretty important to time that Crash Bolt to punch through just a little bit of that armor. And yeah, as Gunvolt, that's really one of the scariest boss fights. It's super, super easy to take a unfortunate death, and if you take a death in the third phase of that fight, you've lost a ton of time. All right, moving on. Previously, you saw the fight against Tessio, but the stage that they designed around this character is just really, really fun to move through. So getting to show it off is always super fun. And this will be the first 2 of 3 frame-perfect tricks that you'll see me going for. Each of them saves a tiny bit of time. So anytime that you get it, you know, it feels good. All right, so we got the first one. Missed the second one. Each of these just saves just a tiny amount of time. And it's real nice when you get them. Not the end of the world when you don't. Okay, and it's going to be boss time. So the fight is going to look very similar to what you've already seen. One thing that you'll see pretty much through all of these fights is just timing out the uses of Astrospheres and then any of the other attacks that you have. And then just mashing the boss down.
ガンボルトの公開速クラッシャーはした飛ばしアームドブルーアストラスビアがレーザーと変えることもあるんですよ。てか今の時代ネットは世界の全てクラッシュボットありえないんですけど。
Yeah, it's true. This game is just amazingly anime, and it happens at you real fast. So almost anything that I could say outside of letting you know what's coming up in terms of tech, gosh, it feels almost like it's taking away a chance to really take in things like stalwart guardians await in a marine paradise where turbid waters roar and the unworthy dare not dwell. Alright, so this segment leading up to the boss is just real fun. So you're going to see a lot of dodging of water-based attacks. And we're about to see one of the most important characters in this game. Coming up, you're going to see just a regular trooper. His name's Jeff. We're going to leave him alone. So everybody say hello to Jeff. I hope he's doing well. So here we're going for a quick kill.
アクアアバター。流れはこの汚れを垂れ流す人間が減れば。クラッシュ。聞こえる。
It always looks real good when you get it. So to answer the questions that I'm seeing in chat, this is being run on Switch. It was originally released for the 3DS, but this is the Switch re-release that I'm playing on because load times are a little bit better. And just, it's a better watch. Yes, this is being played on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I modified mine to have 16:9 output. I think it looks very good. So, ice in this game. I'm looking for a word to describe ice in this game. I'm gonna go with bad. The way that it maintains momentum is unlike any other game that I've played. That's not a compliment. So, a little bit ago, you saw me fight Gunvolt in this area. We're going to revise history here. Previously, Copen won the fight. Okay, I see a controller in chat, or a question in chat asking which controller I'm using. I am currently running with a 8BitDo SN30 Pro Plus, which is a real mouthful of a name, but it's a pretty good controller, although right now I seem to be getting some double down presses when I really don't want them, which is, you know, fun.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
We absolutely have time for a donation.
All right, we have a $5 donation from Mies that says, that king has had it coming for a while. Let's roll up the king in We Love Katamari.
I'm really excited to see that get met. I definitely want the king to get rolled up.
I would love to see the king get rolled up.
Alright, so here we're going for a quick kill. As long as Tenjin never leaves the screen, that means that we got it. Okay, actually, that's a little bit of a lie. Tinjin did leave the screen, but in a different manner than I meant. All right. I love this little blurb. The Azure Dragon and the White Tiger match Fang and Claw once more. So, of course, who are we going to run into? Well, if you guessed that we were going to run into Gowry, well, you're right. So the Gowry fight as Gunvolt in particular can go really, really sideways. You can lose tons and tons of time there. Because he can just choose to, you know, leave the screen, say something like, goodbye. I'm just never going to give you a chance to do any damage. And then he raps at you for like 20 minutes and you feel very, very sad. Mostly because a lot of his rap is, you know, kind of, it's an insult. Like, it's directly insulting you, talking about how he is, in fact, better at doing damage to you than you are at doing damage to him. Once again, you see me mashing down these enemies. You mash just a little bit faster than you auto fire in this game. So if you enjoy mashing fire, I've got a game suggestion for you. And this level does have the last of the frame perfect double jumps that we're going to be going for. This one is definitely the hardest that you'll see me going for. I think that consistency is very important. So just in case anybody was curious, what happens as Gunvolt when you die in this stage? That series of jumps is among the most fun, so getting to do them one more time, not gonna make me too upset.
シアンの力を奪って一体何を企んでいるんだ。
能力者でありながら我らにあだなす廃墟の塔、同志から奪ったミラーピース返してもらおうか。
あれはシアンのものだ。
自分は
Fun strat coming up.
抑えつけることがお前たちが信じる教えだというのだ。クラッシュ、背いて当然だ。
あなたがここに来ることが星の語りかけによって分かっていました。
ほとばしアームドブルーアストラ
どうしてパンテーラの未来にさ一辺の鍵あなたを野放しにしていれば
クラッシュ、
この世界が混沌に満ちることでしょう。ご軌道や無秩序、世界の秩序を乱す悪。
ほとばしアームドブルーアストラスビア。
こんな女の言うこと聞いちゃダメよ。自分また買っているあな終焉の時間。ちゃんとストレンス私よあなたオープンよ。
クラッシュ、
妖精は古来より人を惑わす。あなたを惑わす妖精がこの星のためお眠りなさい。
クラッシュボルト。ありがとうシアン。
星の光が消える。
Do we have time for a quick donation?
We absolutely do.
懐かしいし。
All right, we have a $25 anonymous donation. Here's a little toward rolling up the king of all cosmos.
内定がこじ開ける。同時ロックオンだ。
To anyone watching at home, if you'd like to see the king of the cosmos get rolled up in We Love Katamari, we have a donation incentive right now. We are just $571 away from seeing the king get rolled up.
All right, so it is now going to be anime music video time again. Different song this time.
Level 4エリアにて侵入者発見。総員出撃だ。同志を守れ。
向かってくるなら容赦はできないんだ。
So since we have already seen this section at least, why don't you tell us a bit about Malala? Tell us about what's coming up.
All right, the Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. With more than 130 million girls out of school today, they're breaking down barriers that hold girls back through investing in local education activists, advocating to hold leaders accountable, and amplifying girls' voices.
あいつらは敵だよ。
もう向かってくるな。命を無駄にするんじゃない。思わぬことなど承知済み。少しでもお前を消耗させられるな。
So we did just get one of the most important level ups in the game. We unlocked an ability called Lexcalibur. You'll be seeing that in almost every boss fight left now. One important thing to note, though, is that we do have these little SP cards, these special cards, at the very bottom of the screen. And the Crash Bolt that you've seen me using takes up none of them. Astrosphere takes up 1, and Lexcalibur takes up 2. So that's real important. That is going to limit the amount of use that we do get out of it overall.
コンビネーションなら私と GV だって。
戻れ。貴様はかまどの中で焼き上がりを待つ。骨がどうかにその身の油がやがては焦げ落ちる意味。受け入れろ。敗北がお前のリセット。勝利を記録だ。お前のそれはおままごとだ。時間だ。アンミズブーシ最終工程。勝利はパティシエの真剣勝負。遊びではない。ならば逃がさせろ。
大丈夫。いくら強化されていても所詮は意志の戦い。クラッシュボルト。僕の雷で壊せない道理はない。
油断は禁物だよ。気をつけて GV。
ほとばしアームドブルールクスカイラー。ほとばしアームドブルーアストラスビア。
Alright, so that quick kill's real nice. Anytime that you get it, it feels very, very good because you don't have to sit around waiting forever. So, happy about that. And now it's time for, really at this point, we're at the last part of the run. We're going to see this level 3 times in a row, but this time we're going to get a bad ending. The next 2 times we're going to be fighting a secret boss for each character, which is going to be super, super fun, because we're going to be unlocking the good endings for each character. That's the point of the good endings run. So if you enjoy boss rushes, I've got really good news for you for the next 30 minutes or so.
血のつながりこそないもの。同じ時を共に同じ泥をすすった孤児同士。家族だからこそ死してなお僕は君の前に立ちはだかっている。妹の望みは僕の望み。無能力者という汚れなき世界をなすために人の僕その命。
I think that I hear somebody talking, but I can't quite hear you. You are very, very low.
クリジット・ブロッサン。だから僕はここほとばしアームドブルーアストラスビア。
So here again, I'm going for a quick kill. As long as I get the quick kill, we're going to save a bit of time. After that, Tenjin is going to use a secret technique that he never unleashed on us before. It's very difficult to dodge, and even if you dodge it, it wastes a ton of time, so I'm just going to get hit by it, and hopefully nothing bad will happen. Alright, so this is the other scripted anthem that we get, which is real fun because it means that we get to just go ham on the rest of the boss refights. Alright, what is the time at right now?
You are at 122.27.
We should be under by a fair bit. So here I'm planning out the first of our big Luxcalibur base skips. Big sword.
それが願いというの望み通り僕の来撃で眠れジブリールクラッシュボルト 俺の命は泡と消えちまった俺には仲間がいてくれるあいつらが海洋保全の心を忘れずにいてくれさえすりゃクラッシュボルトまあもちろん世界中の海がきれいになるのが一番だがガンボルトお前さんが俺の仲間たちに手出そうって俺はこの力を使ってあんたを叩きのめすこちらのセリフだお前たちエデンが無関係な人々に
And if you thought, hey, I wonder if we're going to go for a quick kill here. Oh, you don't have to wonder for too long. We'll be coming up on our last of the refights, and then we'll get to face off against Zonda.
さんたちのホームまで釣ってくるとかもうどんだけ連続なんすかおー怖っよ
何を言っても無駄だってせよお前の言葉で僕の心は揺るがない
揺るぐとか揺るがないとかテセオさん別に精神攻撃のつもりはないんですけどだってテセオさん普通に激クラッシュボルトオリジナルのテセオさんは負けちゃったみたいですけどそんなのきっと間違いあとはもう一度やればきっとテセオさんの圧勝のはずなんですけど
GV は
テセオさん必殺インプレグナブルフォートレス
僕は負けんクラッシュボルト僕を待つ人たち
We get to use the infinite jump to just kind of hover here, smash down the boss. We'll see a level Yeah, level up here is really good. It refills our health, which means that going into both Zonda 1 and Zonda 2, I expect to see a full health meter, which is nice.
そんな姿で愛のふざけているのか。美しいこの姿で君と戦ったことはなかったから。
まずはこの姿で力持ちといったところかしら。たまらない。どこまでもバカにした。
あの時兄上が使ったレプリカとは私の宝剣スメラギ製のオリーブ愛の衝動美しい
セアルーホールに頼らず君をほぐるくらいの力はあるの。
フェアリーテールあの変身アイテムのことか。そうだそうだ。ミラーピースに通じたサイバーディーバの力に
模造方向の不完全さを帯びずに宝剣以上の性能を実現したゼルダ。
おとなしいアブドブルーエクスカイラ
愛は散りゆく。気をつけて、渋い。罠があるかも。
Okay, so I did not get a level up there. Not a huge deal. Typically, I don't expect to take a ton of damage during this fight, but... So I previously mentioned this. If I were playing on the 3DS, at this point, Gunvolt would actually be killed, and the game forces you to sing the theme song to bring him back to life. For plot reasons, but also because the 3DS had a microphone and they really wanted to use it. So at this point, we're looking at, typically we see somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes left in the run. But it is time to redo those refights one more time as Gunvolt, and then we get to see the secret boss at the end to get the good ending. So all of those quick kills that you saw me get before, now if I don't get them, I get to feel very, very embarrassed.
だからこそ死してなお僕は君の前に立ちはだかってる。妹の望みは僕の望み。無能力者という汚れなき世界をなすために人に僕その命我ら兄弟に捧げろ。クリジット・ブロッサム。僕には僕ほとばしアームドブルーアストラスビア。だから僕はここで倒れるわけ。クラッシュボルト。いやわけにはいかない。この命を賭して。
All right, and once again we have essentially this amounts to an unskippable cutscene. Now's a great time to tell us about some upcoming incentives, talk a little bit more about Malala, talk about how sad we are that we have to sit through an unskippable cutscene.
All right. Well, we do also have a couple of donations.
Well, heck yeah, let's hear them.
We have a $13.37 donation from XYR010. No comment, but thank you so much for your donation.
Thank you so much.
We also have a $10 anonymous donation, once again with no comment, but thank you. Thank you for that donation as well. We are still working towards that incentive for We Love Katamari, where if you would like to see the king get rolled up into the ball, then we will make that happen as soon as we reach that goal. We also have another incentive where you can choose the music that is played during the Elephant Room level during the We Love Katamari run later today. Right now, it looks like Everlasting Love is coming in at number 1 for that. A little later on today, we have a Space Mouse run where you can show off the hidden dev room where the runner will show their appreciation to the developer by giving them their heart. Aww, if you'd like to see that, you can always choose to have your donation go to that as well. Also, just a friendly reminder that the Yeti is donating $5 per Frost Fatale shirt sold to Malala Fund. And if you'd like to check those shirts out, you can find them at theyeti.com.
それが願いというの望み通り僕の来撃で眠れジブレールクラッシュボルト
We have a $25 donation from Solly Socks that says, loving the event. Thanks for including Final Fantasy. I like tuning in for those runs as they really showcase the patience and focus required for speedrunning. 2 things I lack, so I can never be a runner myself. Tulip was wonderfully weird. I've taken some notes, and next time the bin looks particularly cheerful, I'm going in for the kiss. Thanks so much for that wonderful donation.
世界中の海がきれいになるのが一番。お前さんが俺の仲間たちに手出そうと。俺はこの力を使ってあんたを叩きのめす。こちらのセリフだ。お前たちエレンが無関係な人々に手を出させ。おとばしアームドブルーアストラスビア。奥ずと消えな。アクアアバター。 流れは無関係なんてやつはいねえ。クラッシュボルト。
ほどけない心を浮かして二度と離さない
テセオさんたちのホームまでとってくるとかもうそんだけ連続なんすかおお怖っ
何を言っても無駄だテセオお前の言葉で僕の心は揺るがない
とクラスが揺るがないとかテセオさん別に精神攻撃のつもりはないんですけどだってテセオさん普通に激強ったらオリジナルのテセオさんは負けちゃったみたいですけどそんなのきっと間違い きっとテセオさんの圧勝のはずなんですけどテセオさん必殺インプレグナブルフォートレス取ってからのテセオ
僕は負けない。僕を待つ人たちのためクラッシュボルト。
あおふか
あなたが来ましたか。ガンボほどけない
今さらそんな姿でふざけているのか。
降臨だこの姿で君と戦ったことはなかった
まずはこの姿で力のと言って
クラッシュボルト。ここだね。愛を感じるよ。
どこまでもバカにした
あの時兄上が使ったレプリカとは違う。私の宝剣はスメラギ製のオリジナル。ここ
ミラーピースのフェアリーテイルに頼らずとも君をほふるくらいの力はあると惑いなさい。
あの変身アイテムのことか。
愛の
そうだとも。ミラーピースに
おとばしアームドブルーエクスカイラー。
愛は散りゆく。
All right, so we're going to be coming up on the final Zonda fight for Gunvolt. And then after that, the way that we resolve Gunvolt's story is that Copen also shows up and they decide to really solve all their problems with words.
滅び去れ化け物どもよ。やめるんだアキラ。こんな戦いに何の意味がある。クラスマにはなくとも俺にある。父の願いの成就、そして一縷の亡き妹への弔いだ。彼女は僕を倒したところで彼女への弔いにはクラッシュボルト。そのことを僕はよく知っている。知ったような口を。それは君の自己満足、八つ当たりに過ぎない。 そうだそうだと消滅する。シーケンス、俺のためにその命を捧げろ。ガンボルト奪い取れ。何を言っても無駄なのか。焼き払う奪て。そうだとも。能力者と人間はどこまでも相入れない。クラッシュボルト。滅べ。
Okay, so we go one more time into anime music video mode. After talking through our differences, Copen decides that he wants to be really, really invigorated. And it's time to fight Super Copen. Alright, so this is good ending number 1 down. Which is good. The moral of the story is that we saved Copen's sister, and that is indeed a happy ending. You can tell that it's a good ending, largely because of the fact that we have different music. Now the final time through this this last segment with all the refights. This time we will be going with Copen.
あなたがここに来る時に星は告げていました。しかしここから先は本当にカオスが満ちています。それは星の光すら飲み込み大いなる光と闇の
I think it's safe to say that it is now time for just overall the crowd favorite. All right, time for Final Zonda one more time, and then we get to see, I think, one of the harder fights in the entire game, the Gunvolt fight. Alright, it is time for the Gunvolt fight. On the second phase of Gunvolt, after he goes Super Saiyan, as soon as you see the the experience orbs spawn above him. That is going to be time. So Gunvolt has a pretty obvious weakness. I think that most people will be able to figure out what it's going to be.
能力者がいなければやめろアキラその女の子一部は妹は死んだ貴様ら化け物どもの争いに巻き込まれてドラゴンキング少しわかる
I should move.
飛ばしアームドブルー弱まれもうというか化け物ごときが化け物に分かる人の心などない消えます
Alright, so we will be going into the second phase pretty soon.
ところで終わらせない 私の歌が
So Gunvolt in this phase has one particular attack which just shreds through you. It's called Voltaic Chains. Hopefully we don't see it.
力が溢れてくる一連生きていたのかその色をだけお前のスカリバー止まらないのか見られたミチルとロロに何をした白熱シュレッドストーム呼びかけてくるあの子はシアン飛ばしアームドブルーエキマルタージ彼女は君の言うミチルでありシアンアキラ
Alright, we're coming up on time. Time.
貴様を倒し
And that was Azure Striker Gunvolt 2. Both good endings. Super fun run. And hop us over to just the credits theme because it's real great. And then, yeah, at this point, I think you can take it away. I would love to know what the time was.
Your time was 1:53:18.
Not too bad. No, we're good to go. As soon as you're ready, we are all done. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out for this.
All right. Thank you so much for that excellent run, Tina. We have a $25 donation from Tim's Lift that says, Tinahacks tearing through bosses to start the morning. I'll take it. And you can take my money. Good luck on a smooth finish to a great run. Thank you so much for that generous donation. And we'll be right back right after this ad. Got it. Frost Fatales and other hotfix events and shows are brought to you by viewers like you. Your subscriptions and bits help keep the channel running for these fun events, including shows like Frost Fatales, Random Number Generation, Retro Reboot, Time Capsule, Learning with Liz, and more. We'll be right back right after this ad from Malala Fund.
Conhecimento é a melhor coisa que a gente pode ter. O meu incentivo é a minha aldeia, a minha comunidade.
This is a video series in which girls from countries around the world are sharing their stories and telling what matters to them.
Hi everyone.
أنا اسمي هدير. Hi friend, मेरा नाम आकांक्षा है.
This is Roll Call.
Meu nome é Stephanie Ferreira, eu tenho 19 anos. Eu nasci no estado de São Paulo, nasci aqui, na cidade de São Bernardo do Campo. Em 2008 foi o ano que meu pai resolveu voltar para cá, junto comigo e com minha mãe. Eu comecei a estudar no colégio daqui, da aldeia, desde nova. A gente ensina língua indígena, direitos, tudo isso a gente tem na grade da gente. Eu me formei no colégio daqui, né? Formei em técnica em agroecologia, no colégio aqui da aldeia. E o meu maior orgulho é ter na minha matrícula da universidade, que o meu colégio de formação de segundo grau é o colégio da minha aldeia. Atualmente eu estudo enfermagem, né, na Universidade Estadual de Santa Cruz, a UESC. Eu vou para a universidade, mas eu corro diversos perigos. Recentemente a minha família foi novamente alvo de ameaças. Eu já estou a caminho da faculdade, já estou a caminho. Hoje foi meu pai que está me levando. Mas não é todo dia que ele me leva. Sempre tem alguém para me levar, para me trazer. Até porque ele também não pode estar andando tanto, porque ele também foi um dos alvos das ameaças. Tem dia que eu saio de lá da universidade quase de noite. Então tem dia que eu não tenho como eu vir. Tem dia que eu tenho que ficar por lá. E eu sempre tenho que estar indo, vindo com alguém junto comigo. Apesar dos perigos que a gente corre na estrada, na ida e na vinda, é a minha aldeia, é a minha comunidade, é o meu maior incentivo de estudar ela. Cheguei no lugar que eu estudo, na Universidade Estadual de Santa Cruz, tudo muito grande aqui, e muita gente estuda aqui, gente de todo o país estuda por aqui. Bom, aqui é um pouco como é por dentro do campus da universidade, mas enfim, é puxado, mas é bom, né? A gente está aprendendo, então, ocupando a mente. E é isso. Cada vez mais os jovens daqui querem estudar, querem um futuro, querem usar a sabedoria como a nossa ferramenta, uma das nossas armas de luta, que é o conhecimento. Foi uma conquista minha, mas vai ser a conquista de mais jovens daqui de dentro. E isso é outra coisa também que me dá bastante orgulho.
I hope that these stories would have inspired you and that you would share it with your friends as well. And please do not forget to subscribe to our channel.
We have a $100 donation from Gibbon. No comment, but thank you so much for that donation. Did you know that Frost Fatales has shirts? The Yeti is donating $5 per Frost Fatale shirt sold to Malala Fund. You can find the shirts at theyeti.com. We have a $250 donation from Anonymous that says, "Great to see the runs. Delighted to have the women represent." Don't forget, SGDQ 2020 is coming soon. Submissions are open from March 4th to the 14th for both runners and volunteers. If you'd like to submit, go to gamesdonequick.com. All right, everyone, that's it for me. My name is Sam Without a Plan. Thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your runs and have a great day.